Y'all, welcome back to another video. As promised, we'll be going over the budget for the Caprice and everything that we're doing in it, and we'll go over a few updates mechanically as well. Alright, so what we're going to do today, I'm going to take one receipt at a time, and we're going to go one step through each part that is here, and I'm going to physically show you the corresponding part on the car, so that way you know there's not any shenanigans. Everything here is everything I've got. I promise I do not have anything up my sleeve totally. First thing we are going to start with is the purchase price of the vehicle. Now, we only paid $50 for this car, and yes, that is not a lot of money, but this car did not run. It needed a whole lot. This was sitting just for a long time. We offered $50 to tow it away. And I'm going to go right here to the bill of sale. See, right here, $50. I have the rest covered up with receipts to guard personal information. I hope you understand that. But yes, we only paid $50 for that. This car was sitting there for a long time, and they really needed it out before they would get fined for leaving it there, which, now that I think about it, would be illegal on the officer's part. But anyways, with all that said, we're going to delve into the first item of business. And for the first item of business for today, we have this first receipt. Now, is it sideways? Okay, yeah, it is sideways. Okay, there we go. So the first thing we're going to go over, the first item we have here is this abbreviated as a PO seal, which there's a seal inside the transmission, as well as the PSO seal, ACD, Velcro, and then radiator hose. All these upper four are seals inside the transmission that we did a couple of years ago, which were for this car to race at Lemons. This is all done for Lemons, even though it's been a few years. Then last item on here is radiator hose. Now, the only ones I'm able to show you the engine side, because I don't want to have to take everything apart just to show you. So there's radiator hose down there. And there's one right over there. Those are the same hoses that we purchased for this vehicle. So yeah, so then we have this total comes to $40.87, and that is our first receipt. And I will mention before we go any further, because I forgot to mention that in the intro, we have $500 to do anything, to do any type of repairs in this car. This does not include safety equipment. Is 100% unlimited in purchasing, but that is anything pertaining keeping the driver safe, and we'll go over that a little bit later. Then everything else, getting the car running or even going faster, increasing performance, that goes to the $500 budget. We purchased the car for $50, so we have $450 to work with. So with that said, we're going to go to the next receipt. And here's the next receipt. There is not much on this one. We have just spark plug sets. This one, they did not have enough in one package, so go figure that. Yeah, it's just 34 for one and then 5 for the other. A total of $43.45. The spark plugs are underneath the exhaust manifold. You're not going to be able to see them, but we can see them. Here are the line connectors, which go right under here. I'm not going to be able to get you under there, so we'll just go ahead and move on to the next order of business. And next up, take a look at our first item on the list. We have a hex nut tap bolt and a flange nut. So all these are actually just these little posts. We did some DIY posts, because these would just have a, I just knocked that over. These would just have kind of screws screwing into them, and they're not very big and hard to get depending on the thickness of your gasket. So we did this so it could just be a whole lot easier all the way around. And yes, here is the almost the final product. Everything is put back together. is looking great. We'll talk more about this later. But yes, this is what this receipt is for. And the runner-up today, first thing we have here are coil springs, and I will say I may have lied. I do not actually have everything here. They are. Some of these are in storage just because I do not have space here. But yeah, coil springs. You have 850 a piece. We have 2 of them. Of course, there's core charge. Then we have a transmission cooler, which is right here. Let's see here. We have core charge, and then we got 2 shocks for $6 a piece. Of course, there's tax, and the total is $60.62. And yes, this is from OKC Pull Apart. Yes, very thankful that we have access to this, because even just one coil spring can be as much as $50 on average. We do not have the budget for that, so $8.50 a piece plus $2 core, that you really cannot beat that. So let's get on to our next item. And here's one of our longer ones. We're gonna start right up here at the top. First thing we got is our intake manifold gasket, which that is all that we've been doing up here. The intake manifold is the one with the shiny glary spot in the middle. And then the next part, we have oil pump. Everything referring down here, oil pump, got differential gasket right there in the middle, right there. The oil pump is installed on this car, and all these accessories are installed on this car. Can't show you because that'd be a lot of work just to do nothing. But anyways, a carburetor repair kit is right there. Then all these items add up to the grand total of $132.63. I believe we only have 2 receipts left, so let's get to them. And here's next to the last item on here. We have our 3-row aluminum radiator. Yes, we have shoehorned this into the budget. So yeah, I'll show you that in 1 minute. The total price is $100.14. I found this on eBay. That is an amazing deal. This is for like a 99 Suburban, what have you. Then here is the radiator. So yeah, what we'll just have to do, we'll just have to plug off some of these lines since we are using our own transmission cooler. We're not going to be using the cooler lines. It's here and here. Of course, this style radiator, it has no cap. These would just use a pressurized reservoir pretty much as the cap. So it's this line, and then here's the heater line, which we're not going to be using. So we're just going to cap these, get some heater hose. We'll just put a little here, get a bolt to fit, and use some, what's it called? We'll just be using some water pump gasket maker to put a little bit on the thread so it makes a nice seal. Then after that, of course, we have the little drain valve, which, yes, that's going to be making it very easy to drain this. Before we do any of this, we have to flush the living daylights out of the current cooling system. So with that said, let's go on to our last item. And our last item of business for today is the fuel pump. So the fuel pump on these older style cars is right down there, that gray thing just poking out of the edge. See if I can get a better shot. Here, right there. There we are. So yeah, with installing these, you do need thread sealer because it will leak like no tomorrow. So yes, just keep that in mind. And the performance of this engine became a whole lot better once we replaced it. With that said, we are going to wrap up with everything else on the car. And with all that said, that comes to around $413 of repairs that we've done to this car. It's probably, there's a little bit more math involved, but I showed you all the totals. You can add that up if you want to, so you can see the exact numbers that are there. This is everything that we've been doing and plan to do. Now for the springs, I plan to get off of well, I do plan to return, okay, see, pull apart and get some other set of springs. We do have the budget for that. I want to get some front springs off a Tahoe or 1500K series, that 90 square body, put on the front of this, and then that way, having a stiffer spring, we can lower it quite substantially. The reason why you don't want to just cut springs on this car, let me show you something. It's me not trying very hard. You may not be able to see, but this is a boat. It feels like a boat. It is very comfortable, but that's not what you want for performance. And if we cut the springs, they'll just become even looser. So that's why we want to get some stiffer springs. On another note, that is just about everything. Of course, we got all this put back together. It looks absolutely great. It's the first time ever using a torque wrench. Oh, that's fun. I don't have to guess how tight the bolts are. That's amazing. As far as last week, I mentioned that fuel gauge is still kind of wonky. I found what it was. It is just a ground wire. I haven't actually gotten around to fixing it yet. Just crawled underneath and saw, yep, there's a lot of green on the wire. Like corrosion green. Kind of looks like mold, except not. Just corrosion. Mention again about the safety and the budget. More specifically, for safety items, that includes your roll cage, your suits, fire suppression. Go see my first 3 videos that goes over in more detail. Then performance includes like everything I just showed you. Getting the car running, lowering springs, thermostat. Oh yeah, there's thermostat. It is on the larger one with all the oil pump and such and whatnot. I downgraded from the previous owner that put a 195-degree thermostat. I do not agree with that. That should not be in a car this old. We're going back down to a 160. This car around stock should have been around 170, 185. So yeah, 160 will help keep us nice and cool while racing. 3-row aluminum radiator, and we're going to be in great shape. Other small things you just really can never keep track of. Just like the little seal to go in right in that hole in the valve cover. It's like that. I believe that's $5. I'll put that in anyways. I'm waiting for that to come in Monday, and yeah, I really hope I can get a roll cage put in soon. Money is still tight as always, but if you consider donating, please consider do so. And 10% will always be donated to Samaritan's Purse. If you want to bypass us and just donate to them, by all means, go ahead and feel free to do so. They do a lot for people in need, natural disaster, and just more poverty areas of the world. With all that said, thanks a lot for watching. I will have all the links down in the description. I might plug the Lemons link so you can read through all the rules. Viewer discretion is not the most clean of rules, so just keep that in mind if you have young ones. So thank you all for watching, and we'll see you all next time.